You got plenty of time. You come in, you're not in a rush. You just sit and enjoy having eyesight problems.
It doesn't take much to make you happy when you get real old. And I don't like to admit it, but I'm real old.
We have to brush them, wash them, walk them, clean them, feed them.
When we go out to the shows, most people don't know that this is our first time. This is something new to us.
CHI helps victims of sexual assault and domestic violence seek help.
Hold the hand of that patient in that moment that's scary and intrusive.
I mean, this intersection is just wild. Like, I bet if we stand here long enough, we'll catch somebody. Oh, he did it, I can do it too. Monkey see, monkey do. That'd be 14.
From 3 News Now and the Omaha World-Herald, this is Omaha Sunday Morning with Jennifer Griswold.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us this Sunday. I'm Emily Zink in for Jennifer Griswold. The men in our first story may be Omaha's foremost breakfast experts. The 2 retirees spend every Wednesday finding a new spot to enjoy a good cup of coffee, a hot meal, and a whole lot of conversation. Omaha World-Herald visual journalist Ryan Soderlin tagged along as Omaha's sunny side up old men tried a new spot.
The fun of doing this, and if we go at 8 or if we go at 9 or if we go at 10, it doesn't really make a hell of a lot of difference.
As retired people, you got plenty of time. You come in, you're not in a rush. You just sit and enjoy. We have a party every week.
Neither one of us have anything special to do most of the time.
Well,
once in a while.
Don is having eyesight problems, so he had to give up his driver's license, so he couldn't drive anymore. One day his wife said to me, he's sitting around the house, needs to get out more. Would you mind taking him out? We'll tell you all. So the first time we went to Pettit's for a donut and coffee. Most times it's 9 o'clock. I come over, I pick him up, and then in the car, where should we go? And then we just decide.
We sit usually in my driveway, and he pulls this out.
And we say, where haven't we been for a while, or whatever our mood is.
It doesn't take much to make you happy when you get real old. And I don't like to admit it, but I'm real old.
He comes, picks me up at 9 o'clock on the dot.
Leavenworth Cafe, Lee says Radio Cafe, Leo's Diner, Louis M's, Vidlax, The Diner, First Watch, Amato. All right.
That is quite a list they have there. Every Wednesday, they keep driving to new places in different parts of town. Afterwards, they explore the area around the diner in Harold's car. They remember what used to be there and look for what's new. Well, it's been a popular breakfast spot for decades, but the Doughnut Stop's time is now coming to an end. The landmark business will be closing its doors in Little Bohemia at the end of October. Photojournalist Adam LaRose went out and got reaction from fans of the late-night donut shop.
So it really feels like the end of an era. I feel really sad about it, but then again, I mean, I understand that things come to an end.
Shed a tear or two.
Last night, my friend texted me, and he's like, bro, the Doughnut Stop is gonna close. I was like, what? No way. And then he was like, yeah, we have to go every night from now on. I was like, all right, I'm down.
It's good donuts. Kind of sad to see it go. We're gonna try to get here as many times as we can before they shut down.
On our way home, we were like, let's stop at the Doughnut Stop because I know it's closing soon, and Rusa just moved here, and so we were like, she has to experience this Omaha thing before she doesn't get the chance to.
This is kind of the late night go-to place.
It's really the late night crew that kind of drives the culture here.
You know, it's Doughnut Stop. Like, you know, it's a landmark. Kind of an iconic place in Omaha.
Yeah, we come here a lot.
We're weekly customers.
Coming here for, what, 3-4 years now?
There's a sign that says checks only for customers we know, and I think we definitely qualify.
The space hasn't really changed. Like, there's still the cat posters everywhere, and there's still a lot of the same clientele.
And the cat decor is the favorite part.
There's one night, me and my dad, we were outside and we were messing around, and we came in and he said, you can get any donut you want. And I picked every single donut. I want all of these. I'm gonna eat all of them, and I did.
It's work. This is somebody's work, you know, and they get to also retire and close shop. It's okay for them to be done.
You always wonder how it's going to end, and I think this is a good way for them to go out.
Oh God, it's going to be a riot here.
We're coming the 30th. Wear our costumes, maybe.
I didn't realize that they were closing on Halloween.
It's October 31st. We'll be here. It'll be a line out the door, like I'm sure of it, and we'll send them off with a bang.
Thanks for all the years that they've been doing it here.
It's gonna be really tough, like not being able to come in here anymore.
Who's going to pick up the mantle when the Doughnut Stop is gone? You know, where are we going to go late at night? And there's going to be a big gap left by the Doughnut Stop, and I'm interested to see who fills it.
You got big shoes to fill.
With jelly or Bavarian cream.
The first Doughnut Stop was opened in the mid-1970s in Nebraska City. The current location was opened in 1988. First responders, teachers, military members, and veterans, listen up. You could pick up a free plant today. The Benson Plant Rescue is holding its 5th annual perennial sale this weekend. It's received over 15,000 plants from their wholesale nursery in Iowa and want the public servants to get a little love. All you need to do is show your ID with what group you're affiliated with.
We've given annual plants. This is the first year we're actually going to be able to give away perennial plants as well. And we will be giving away 3 one-gallon containers of perennial plants to anyone who is either active duty military or a veteran, first responder. And then we've expanded it actually to hospital staff, and we've done teachers in the past, but we're expanding it now to just school staff as well as library staff this year.
This year's Midsummer Perennial Sale is the largest in Benson Plant Rescue's 20 years of reclaiming plant goods. All of those proceeds benefit the Omaha Public Library. With temperatures this month trending cooler than average, many are wondering what's in store for the rest of the year. When Omaha Sunday Morning continues, we look at weather patterns and what El Nino could mean for our winter forecast. Welcome back. It's only the end of July, but some people are already wondering what's in store for winter. Although it's too early to provide any type of winter forecast, there are signals being watched in a phrase you've likely heard before, El Nino. Meteorologist Audra Moore has a look at what could be heading our way.
Right now, there is a 55 to 70% chance El Nino conditions will continue to develop this fall and winter. Meteorologist in charge at the National Weather Service in Valley, Suzanne Fortin, explains what exactly El Nino is.
It is one of many large-scale patterns that basically control the atmosphere. And so, but it's one predictor of a potentially warmer than normal winter. But the local effects here maybe are not as great as we see on the coastal areas of the United States.
We look to the Pacific coast for signals of what may be coming as meteorologists record anomalies in sea surface temperatures to see if they are running above or below average. In an El Nino pattern, temperatures are slightly warmer.
What's going on in the Pacific Ocean in terms of temperature trends and the sea surface temperatures. And so based on what's going on there, it causes different changes in the upper level flow pattern over first the Central Pacific, and then it translates over to the North America.
In general, El Nino winters can bring warmer conditions in the northwest and cooler and wetter conditions in the southeast. However, 3 News Now meteorologist Jennifer Zeppelin says that doesn't mean we can't see some decent snowfall totals during an El Nino winter.
But when it comes to an El Nino event with warmer temperatures, a little bit more moisture to work with, the combination of the two can provide us with a lot more snowfall and a lot in a very short amount of time.
Audra Moore, 3 News Now.
Many people across the area may remember one particular El Nino winter of 2009 to 2010 when Omaha received nearly 50 inches of snow. As July comes to an end and August begins, our trend of below average temperatures will continue, but we slowly start to warm up through next week. In Omaha, we'll see a couple of rain chances in the week ahead, while better rain chances are farther north and east. Rain is less likely to our south and west. It's that time of the year again. Country fairs are in full swing, and in some counties that means it's time for a little roping, riding, and all things cowboy as the rodeo takes over. Omaha World-Herald visual journalist Kayla Wolf takes us there.
When my dad was rodeoing, there was a contractor that had a big draft horse that people would get on just like when they were starting out. She would just lope down the arena, and when I was 6 years old, I started getting on him, and shoot, I was hooked. It's kind of like a drug. Sometimes you hate it, but you just can't quit.
That cowboy is successful.
He loves the rope, and he's got a big horse and a pony at home that he rides every day, and he's always got a rope in his hand, and he rides the arm of the couch like it's a bucking horse. So if he wants to do it, I'll be back there with him, helping him whatever he needs. But if he don't want to, that's perfectly fine with me.
Here comes Ellie.
Mutton busting is the kids' go-to. They love it. Parents love it. They're always trying to get their kids signed up. It's 5 to 7-year-olds, so it's that age range that they're just kind of a little scared, but they're also so excited to do it. Some make it halfway down the arena, some make it just a foot or two, but they always love it.
Looks like a great time. The Wahoo Saddle Club organizes the rodeo. This year was the 64th annual rodeo. Call it a meat wave. New numbers show the U.S. has more than 2.5 billion pounds of meat in storage. How the trade situation is affecting small area farmers and what it means for you when buying meat at the grocery store. That story when Omaha Sunday Morning continues. Welcome back. Cold storage space is now very much in demand, and the price of meat is likely to fall at the grocery store very soon. From farmers to distributors to where beef is stored and now to your home, the tariffs are affecting the price of local beef. 3 News Now reporter Maya Stein shows us why it's good news for consumers but difficult for small farmers.
If you want good beef, you live in the perfect state for it. But if you're trying to sell it, right now you may be scrambling to find buyers.
A lot of small farmers are calling me, seeing, if we need a new source of beef.
Just Good Meat owner Sean Fuller says small farmers are struggling to sell their products overseas due to the China beef tariff imposed in April.
It's the guy that I talked to earlier today said that he had to sell 250 head of cattle that he was getting ready to have processed to go to Madrid to being exported, and that he had to just hurry up and sell it because the export business basically stopped.
Fuller says now many farmers are trying to freeze their unsold product.
When you've got thousands and thousands of pounds that a month ago had a home and now it doesn't. So I think they're kind of forced to try to find the refrigeration places that can freeze it until they can do something with it.
Cannonball Express, a refrigerated specialist shipping company in town, ships between 2 and 2.5 million pounds of meat each week.
There's not a lot of capacity for storage in Omaha. We get inquiries on a fairly regular basis.
Co-owner James Meyer says some of his customers are facing an ongoing cold storage warehouse shortage.
Some of them have added capacity by themselves. Some of them aren't storing as long. They'll discount product to ship it out faster.
Fuller says all this will lead to cheaper beef prices at the grocery store.
You're going to see beef prices kind of fall for a little while until they figure out where it can start to go, basically. So it's going to be better for the consumer, but it's really hurting small farmers.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was Maya Stein reporting. Sean Fuller says beef prices are already decreasing rather quickly and have already dropped 10 to 15%. Call it a Where's Waldo of sorts. When Omaha Sunday Morning continues, we'll show you how Children's Hospital is turning a construction site into a fun game for the patients who have views overlooking the hard hat zone. Welcome back. It was a fantastic experience at Boys Town for campers who love sports. All of the attendees at Camp Abilities Nebraska are visually impaired, blind, or deaf. 3 News Now photojournalist Matt Swift captures some of the action at the week-long camp.
We are at Boys Town Home Campus for Camp Abilities Nebraska, which is a week-long sports and leadership development camp for youth who are blind and visually impaired. We believe in the capabilities of the blind, and we want to give young people the opportunity to learn that they're capable.
I think it's awesome. I've been playing on my phone at home, and this is a good change because I like doing outside stuff.
It's exciting because you do a lot of different activities, you do archery, swimming, golf. You do a lot.
Well, I'm doing a row contest
Some of our kids have never had an opportunity to do these activities, and the chance to find out that they're capable of a ropes course or the kinds of things that most kids take as typical.
You get to meet a lot of people and have some fun.
Children's Hospital and Medical Center is growing, and to get the young patients excited, staff threw a construction-themed party. As part of the fun, workers created a game with an 8-foot cutout of Sven, the facility dog at Children's. The large cutout of the pup will be moved around the construction site, prompting patients to look out their hospital windows and search for their furry friend.
As long as Sven is not in the way, they're going to be able to move him around and keep the kids engaged with what's going on. As the building comes out of the ground, as you see more activity, they'll just move him around until we probably close the walls in.
What a fun game. The Hubbard Center for Children is expected to open in 2021. It's an 8-story clinical facility. Frost fever continues to rise right here in Nebraska as football season inches closer. This week, the new Husker head coach talked about the future of the program during Big Ten Media Days, his take on the team, and what players are saying about their new leader when Omaha Sunday Morning continues. Welcome back. The votes are in. Memorial Stadium has been named the #1 college football stadium by Popular Mechanics, a popular online magazine. Memorial Stadium underwent expansions in 2013 and has a capacity that exceeds 90,000. Famously, the Huskers are currently riding an NCAA record 361-game sellout streak that dates back to 1962. It's a sellout record that will likely continue under new head coach Scott Frost. The former player turned coach is all Husker Nation is talking about. And this week we heard from Frost himself at Big Ten Media Days in Chicago. Sports director Adam Kruger has that story.
In front of a jam-packed, standing-room-only crowd of reporters, the spotlight shined on first-year Nebraska head coach Scott Frost. For much of the afternoon, the new leader of Husker football emphasized how important it is to him to get the Big Red back to elite status.
I know how much Nebraska football meant to the state of Nebraska because I was a kid that grew up there. The hopes of the state, the identity of the state are wrapped up in Nebraska football. Mine was when I was little. It's helped me from the standpoint that I know, like I've said a bunch of times, a lot of the things that made Nebraska special. We know we're carrying the mantle and the hopes of a lot of Nebraskans, and we're going to do the absolute best we can with it.
Frost also discussed how he hopes to blend his up-tempo offense to the physical brand of football Nebraska was known for during his playing days.
I always said back then, if we could take this offense and this speed development and our scheme and marry it with old-school Husker power, we won't lose a game. And I was being facetious, but we did that in Orlando. We got Zach, an old Husker power guy, involved, and our team got big and strong, and we were physical. And we mixed it with our scheme, and we didn't lose a game. I'm not saying that's going to happen again, but I like the formula and the things we're putting together.
A trio of Nebraska players also touched on Frost's return to his alma mater and the effect it's had on the program.
He's a championship quarterback. You know, he's that guy. You know, he's he ate at the same cafeteria I ate at, did the same things I've done. You know, so I want to be just like that guy. I want to win a championship, so it's easy to follow that.
Really not crazy outspoken. Not the most out there and boisterous coach you're going to talk to, but you know, he really is competitive. He really is fiery. You know, he does it in his own way, but he's always given us his 100% at practice. You know, he's always ready to roll.
He's allowed us to be able to play with no kind of regret. You know, in the sense of if I mess this up, coach is going to pull me out. He's telling us, he was like, don't think that I'm not going to, you know, talk to you, but he says, I'm going to coach you.
Frost says he hopes to decide on a starting quarterback before the week of the first game. This week, a groundbreaking years in the making. Dirt was moved for a new Omaha police precinct. Coming up, we look at the plans for the new location and why police say it will help them better serve you when Omaha Sunday Morning continues. Welcome back. The city of Omaha broke ground this week on a facility the mayor and police chief believe will make West Omaha safer. Once the new police precinct near 209th and Cumberland is finished, officials say residents in West Omaha will experience quicker police response times during an emergency. 3 News Now reporter John Kipper has the details.
But they're obviously going to see a lot more police cars now. They have a police station right in their backyard, and they're going to see more police officers, and the interactions with the public is going to be greater.
The new precinct will include all areas of the city west of Interstate 680. Police cover that area already, but they can now throw full resources to that spot of town, giving residents there peace of mind.
So I think that gives them a feeling of confidence that somebody is looking after them or for them. I think that's the neat thing about it.
We've always maintained public safety as a high priority, or the highest priority, really. And it's not to say that they were underserved before. It's just to say that they will be better served, I think, going forward.
The city continues to expand its boundaries west. And Mayor Gene Stothert says, while the move was not done for annexing purposes, it certainly will help to have the precinct future annexations.
As we do continue to grow, and a lot of the growth is out west, the police presence out here in the building will certainly, I think, make a difference to those being annexed.
Chief Schmatter hopes the new building allows folks in Elkhorn to bring in OPD as a part of the community.
Once we become humanized, once we understand who the public is, that's when policing services and problem solving go to that next level. And Elkhorn's got an opportunity to have that right in their backyard with this 5th precinct.
That was John Kipper reporting they plan to start construction as soon as next week, with hopes that they'll have the ribbon cutting and move into that facility the same time next year. After months of training, 2 new pups will be joining the Nebraska State Patrol. Coda, a 2-year-old Belgian Malinois, is stationed in Norfolk. Last week, Coda helped find more than 140 pounds of marijuana in a car. Amos, a 15-month-old Dutch Shepherd, will be stationed in Sydney. Both canines are trained for patrol in detecting controlled substances. The new canines bring the NSP Police Service Dogs unit to 9 dogs spread throughout the state. A special room in the ER of an Omaha hospital will be the newest tool to comfort and help victims of sexual assault and human trafficking. They're called Sane Rooms. You can find them in a growing number of hospitals around the country. CHI plans to open its 4th such room at Midlands in Papillion on Tuesday. 3 News Now reporter Andrea Braswell looks at their important function.
A room designed to help victims of sexual assault and domestic violence seek help.
It has an interview area that is separate from the medical exam area, just to offer the patient a little bit more comfort.
CHI has 4 Sane Rooms like this. Its latest is under construction at CHI Health Midlands in Papillion.
With the increase in patients that we're seeing, it was decided that we need to build the specific rooms for our patients to provide better care to them.
In 2016, Sane Supervisor Jody Hayes says they treated 23 sexual assault domestic violence patients, and that number continues to rise.
And in 2017, we saw 203 patients. So far in 2018, since the beginning of January, we've already seen 243 patients.
Women's Center for Advancement's Elizabeth Powers says this care is what victims need.
That they are safe, that nobody will bother them, that nobody will just walk up and see them and then all of a sudden know a very personal story about them.
During a patient stay, CHI teams up with a WCA professional to provide patients with emotional care.
You know, they literally and figuratively hold the hand of that patient in that moment that's scary and intrusive.
Under the privacy and treatment of a trained medical professional.
You're not the only one that has been through a traumatic situation, and knowing that there's support out there makes you more willing to come forth and share what's happened to you.
That was Andrea Braswell reporting. The new Sane Room will open on Tuesday at CHI Health Midlands. Health professionals say this new addition is just another way to reach the community in times of emotional turbulence. The Omaha VA Medical Center is going high-tech. Their newest addition will help staff all throughout the building. Meet Johnny the Robot. It can navigate around the hospital, picking up and dropping off items. The bot is equipped with a speaker and sensors, so it won't bump into anyone in the hallways. It has access to elevators, allowing it to travel to any of the 8 floors.
I would say if you ask any of the staff, they're appreciating it because if there's like a stat waiting to come up and they don't have to run down and get it, it's not stopping them doing from what they were doing previously. It just helps things go much quicker for them, and I think it's been beneficial.
How cool is that? The robots are still in their testing stage. The hospital is working on getting out some glitches, but so far they've been good at their job. 4-H kids know it's hard work as the summer months wind down and fair season ramps up. Whether they're getting ready to show at a county fair or preparing to move on to state, it's a lot of time, energy, and hard work to get those animals ready to show. One group is using the farm skills to teach a group of teens important life skills, hoping to set their lives on a better path. Omaha World-Herald visual journalist Ryan Sutherland has their story.
The key to this, you push the lever which way you want the head gate to turn. If you want to go in, you push it that way. If you want to go out, it goes that way.
So our program here is to teach them how to work together as a team, and that calf and the kid are the team, and work together as a club, and to find out that through hard work, good things do happen.
We have to brush them, wash them, walk them, clean them, feed them. Basically anything you do with the animal, keep it healthy and like work with you.
We're preparing for the 4-H show that's coming up this weekend. We've been doing a couple of them so far around this time, We started doing a lot of them. It's about showmanship and how you present your cow and how you look presenting it, yeah.
I live by a simple motto, I can't, never done a darn thing. They don't incorporate that in the 4-H aspect of it, but that's our motto here.
When we go out to the shows, most people don't know that this is our first time. And this is something new to us. Some of these kids have been doing all their lives, and us, it's just a couple months. And every day is a new experience. You learn something, so.
Yeah, we do showmanship too. Work with your cow, but keep your eye on the judge. You like scratch the belly, make sure that their legs are set where they're supposed to be set. Yeah, make sure the head's straight, head up, and all that, yeah.
We have kids who have been at this age 3 or 4 months, but I've always taught them, especially in this end of it, the 4-H end of it, bring on, it's friendly competition. Bring on the competition, learn from that, and you'll be amazed what you can do.
Okay, keep going.
The Omaha Home for Boys 4-H Club is the oldest 4-H club in Omaha. It celebrates its 70th anniversary this year. A popular attraction inside the city's biggest tourism draw marked a very big milestone. The Omaha Zoo Railroad celebrated its 50th birthday at the Henry Dorley Zoo and Aquarium this week. Its steam engine is a replica of the engine that pulled the ceremonial train to the Golden Spike in 1869. Union Pacific laid the tracks at the zoo back in 1967, creating what train mechanic Deborah Bach calls a truly unique experience.
There is no other zoo that has anything like this. They usually have the little chance trains.
Deborah says the key to keeping the steam engine running is driving it gently and proper maintenance. Omaha Sunday Morning continues next. Welcome back. The flooding from the Missouri River may be gone, but its effect is still noticeable at MP Dodge Park in Omaha. The marina and boat ramp reopened this week after a month of being closed. 3 News Now reporter John Kipper was there and talked to folks who use that marina.
Some more debris down here, and I was kind of surprised that there's this much dead grass down in here. A lot of it looks like it got flooded out and killed with just the moisture itself, you know, just it had a hard time coming back from the last flood, and now they got to kind of redo it again.
George Schluter walks his dog most days at MP Dodge Park. He had to audible to Hummel Park after Missouri River floodwaters overtook the park in late June. This has happened before, including in 2011, when the park was shut down for 2 years before it opened back up.
People down here had worked really hard to get it up to the level that it had gotten to before this came along from the previous damage.
Omaha Parks maintenance manager Josh Fry says they lost 3 big trees from the recent flooding, but staff believe the rest of the trees will hold up. Crews will also have to reseed much of the turf grass that died. He says that will be done in the fall. Gail Huggins still thought the park was closed this morning when he attempted to fish at a spot near the airport.
And I tried there, but I couldn't find it. So I thought I would come here and see, just take a chance to see if it was open yet. To my surprise, I'm very glad it's open. I've been waiting to get out here.
That was John Kipper reporting. The Parks Department wasted no time trying to get that park up to par. As soon as it opened, you could see maintenance crews starting to clean up. A new exhibit at UNO is tackling a piece of American history not often talked about. At the center, the infamous Alcatraz Island. After Alcatraz's famous prison closed back in 1963, the rocky island was mostly abandoned. But in 1964, a small group of Lakota activists landed on the island and claimed it under an 1868 treaty. Omaha World-Herald visual journalist Brendan Sullivan shows us the exhibit that's telling that story.
November 9th, 1969, the students kind of got together around the piers of the bay there, and they'd gathered reporters, and they were issuing this kind of call to take over Alcatraz Island, which for them was this kind of great, theater, 1960s stage theater, because Alcatraz represented this metaphor. It represented a metaphor in which there was no running water, no electricity, no power, there was no mineral resources, there was no employment, no jobs, no prospects whatsoever. And in fact, it represented most reservation communities in Indian country in general, a failed federal prison that was sitting there crumbling. And so for being able to kind of justify to the media, what is Native rights and where do we go from here, it really was a turning point in the Indian movement in general. And so these objects are enabling us to tell those stories to new generations and to really uncover a piece of our history that's kind of gone ignored for far too long. And they invaded Alcatraz Island, and they would claim it for another 19 months, creating one of the largest Native occupations in American history of the 20th century, in which over 10 to 15,000 Native peoples would make their way to the island, and completely transforming legislation. Over 26 pieces of self-determination legislation were passed after this, in addition to over 29 Supreme Court cases that drastically changed and transformed forever Native rights in this country. So it's a really great story of Native history, and it's one that every American should know and understand, and how, for America's most invisible population, do we become visible again?
The exhibit housed in UNO's Chris Library will remain in Omaha through August 10th. From there, it will travel around the country, eventually landing on Alcatraz Island, now under the control of the National Park Service to commemorate the 50th anniversary of that occupation. Summer vacation is over, at least for one local school. We'll catch up with the Omaha students who are back in class and look at the work the teachers put in to get this new school year started. That story next. Welcome back. Now look at what's happening this week in Omaha. On Tuesday, kids with disabilities will get a chance to shoot hoops, play tennis, even fence at the CHI Health Junior Wheelchair Sports Camp. And on Thursday, grab some crayons or colored pencils and take some time to color. It's National Color Book Day. For more information on these events and many more happenings this week, take a look at the community calendar on omaha.com. No cop, so very few drivers stop. It's a trend at one specific exit ramp off I-80 in Omaha. The problem is spilling onto 72nd Street. 3 News Now traffic reporter Max Charlton explains this and what's driving you crazy.
This sign is hard to miss as you're getting off I-80 at 72nd Street, but it keeps getting missed or ignored by area drivers.
I drive down this road a lot, and I mean, it's constant.
Speak of the devil, did you see that?
What frustrates me the most is that someone's gonna get seriously hurt.
Andrew Johnson has seen people ignoring this sign quite a bit.
Over 100 times. I mean, if I was an Omaha cop, I would love to just sit right here and watch.
I talked to Omaha police about this very sign.
That's there for a reason. It's not just a suggestion. It's there to keep people safe.
Police telling me signs like that are usually at blind or hard to see intersections or areas where it's difficult to clear because of oncoming traffic speeds.
I mean, this intersection is just wild. Like, I bet if we stand here long enough, we'll catch somebody.
And that's exactly what we did.
Let's see if they do it. There she is. She's taking a right-hand turn on red.
Yep. And it kept happening.
Oh, if he did it, I can do it too. 3. Shall I keep counting? Monkey see, monkey do. That'd be 14.
Besides writing tickets, Johnson doesn't know if there's anything that will stop people from ignoring no turn on red signs.
Stupid's gonna do what stupid does.
That is crazy. That's Max Charlton reporting, and if you're caught, it's a $75 fine. They call it the Dream Playground in Council Bluffs, and it's nearly complete. The second and last phase of construction has been happening all week at Lake Manawa State Park, and organizers say they need volunteers to help finish up this project. The design came from thousands of drawings by Council Bluffs elementary school students. There are 3 daily shifts. All skill levels are needed.
We will not turn anybody away. We need as many people as we can get, honestly. It is when people come down here, they're going to actually be able to get a grasp of the magnitude of what we're building.
Today is the last day of the build, and they could still use volunteers for a number of different jobs, from builders to volunteer check-in. A new West Omaha Nature Preserve is open for outdoor enthusiasts in a place you may not think to look. City leaders celebrated the opening of Pacific Preserve near 162nd and Pacific this week. The City Parks and Rec Department will take care of that donated land, which they transformed from private property to a nature preserve.
Our whole thought process through this has been to have an area to where you just can kind of go back. We want to see it grow. All the plantings that we've done are for pollinators, for birds, for bees. Just a really passive preserve area that we don't have existing in our current park system.
It will be open from dawn until dusk. Officials say the area is low maintenance with crushed limestone paths and benches. Pets will not be allowed. Summer break has come to an end for students at one Omaha school. The Wilson Focus School held its first day of class on Thursday, but teachers and staff spent the last few weeks getting their school and their classrooms ready. 3 News Now reporter Shantae Passmore caught up before the excitement.
Every year,
these little cushions
right before school starts.
Every year is exciting because the students are always new.
At Wilson Focus Elementary School, for a 3rd grade teacher,
I know,
Therese McGee.
It's a lot of wonder and a little bit of worry.
She holds 28 years under her belt at Omaha Public Schools.
Got a drawer full of those.
Setting up her classroom for her kiddos.
A little while on Thursday morning.
It's still fun.
Probably freak them out. I like it to be friendly. I like it to be colorful.
The fall semester isn't only welcoming new students, but also staff.
Oh, so we're both newbies. Yeah, I'm so pleased to meet you.
Such as Teresa Franks, teaching 6th grade.
I wanted to feel welcoming and comfortable,
but also
workable so we can get a lot done.
A study on balance taught by newcomers.
Yeah, I love this age. It's my favorite age.
And veterans.
We're so cool.
But these teachers' first lesson on day 1. Subtracting those first day jitters while adding excitement beyond the first hello.
Everybody will see their name.
But with every good morning.
That was Shantae Passmore reporting. Protesters grabbed signs and ditched their clothes at a busy Omaha intersection. When Omaha Sunday Morning continues, editorial cartoonist Jeff Koturba has a thing or two to say about their protest method. Welcome back. A new protest at a busy Omaha intersection got a lot of people's attention this week, including Omaha World-Herald cartoonist Jeff Koturba. Oh boy, let's take a look at this.
I'm Jeff Koturba. I am the editorial cartoonist for the Omaha World-Herald.
You heard about those nearly naked women who were protesting a new liquor law, right? You know, the ones who were right here on 72nd and Dodge. Okay, not to worry, I'm not naked. But I got to thinking, what if people started a different kind of protest? You know, one that would draw attention to a local establishment that's been looking awfully bare for a really long time. Yep, the Crossroads Mall. Sure, there are a few stores left. I mean, I find myself at that Target and Barnes & Noble all the time, and I think Sears is still open. And of course, there's that Czech and Slovak museum. With a name like Koturba, that's Koturba in Czech, My family bought a vowel. I can't help but want that museum to thrive. So I drew this cartoon. Here, a nearly naked guy is drawing attention to the nearly naked Crossroads Mall. Get it? My cartoons appear in print and online, but hey, maybe this is yet one more way to get my work out there. Honk if you like my cartoons. Honk! Maybe I should take off my shirt. Maybe not.
Another great cartoon there. That's all for this week. Thanks for watching Omaha Sunday Morning. We'll see you back here next week.